the JSAClix podcast, the show where we discuss high-level competitive, casual, and everything in between. Your host is Jay Solomon, and now, on to the show. Hey everyone, this is the JSAClix podcast, episode number 3, and this is the podcast where we discuss the competitive Heroclix environment, as well as any alternate formats that are currently relevant, as well as sealed. I'm your host, Jay Solomon, and today I'm joined by my co-hosts, Chad Birdsall, who is a rock judge and just judged at the Rock Online National events. We have Adam Friedman, who won the Rock National Online Singles event, and we have Devin Owens, who is the reigning Canadian National Champion because
allegedly
it was allowed to happen that a Canadian won somehow.
Yeah, and it counts as 2 years in a row if it just doesn't happen the second year, right?
Definitely
no.
not happening.
You are still the reigning champion, but
Yeah,
you
exactly.
still only won one event.
Yeah, reigning champion 2 years running, won one event. There we go.
Today we're going to be discussing the Super Rares section of our sealed comprehensive review and just comprehensive review of Spider-Man and Venom Absolute Carnage. But before we start, I just wanted to give a quick mention that in addition to the audio of this show, we will be putting up on our YouTube the same recording, but also with the visuals of the figures that we are discussing. So if that is helpful for you, you can check that out on our YouTube. Our YouTube and any other social media we have or equivalents will be under JSAClix. I also want to mention that we have our Patreon up, which is patreon.com/JSAClix. And if you're a patron, you might be listening to this very episode early. But we're going to start off the actual content of this episode, which is going to be starting with Absolute Carnage, who has a lot going on. I will go over his object first because he starts with an object, which is the Carnage symbiote. The effect is plasticity shape change. When this character KOs an opposing character after resolutions, heal 1 click. If that character had the Codex keyword, heal 3 clicks instead. This is exactly identical to the Codex Hunter trait that a bunch of characters in the set have. He also has traded Flurry and Giant Reach 3. When Absolute Carnage KOs an opposing character of 25 plus points after resolutions, you may generate a 0/1 Carnage minion from this set in that character's square. He has the Maximum Carnage trait. Once per turn, when Absolute Carnage hits, after resolutions, deal 1 penetrating damage to up to 2 opposing characters that weren't hit but are adjacent to a hit character. He starts off with a special damage power on his initial 200-point starting line, his first click at 125, and not at his 60-point line. The power is Battle Fury, Leadership, Probability Control, and then other characters with Maximum Carnage keyword, Modify Attack +1. He has the Codex keyword, Maximum Carnage, and Monster, and he is 11 clicks long at 200 points, improvement when elevated hindering. I will be discussing him first. I think you definitely play him in sealed, probably at full, because he's hard to get through, and prob and leadership, and does all the stuff you want. Generating is cool. Flurry, Giant Reach 3, it's all reasonable, but in any constructed format, that's going to be a definite no for me, dog. And the problem with the equipment is that there's just other equipment that does the same thing but better. If we're talking about the Earth X Venom symbiote, for basically, you don't get the healing, but you get plasticity shape change, and that one actually has the old automatic breakaway. And then there's the Remaker ring for 5 points. It's just not worth it until more stuff retires, unless you really, really need all the shape change for all 3 of your equipment objects. So that's all I have to say about this interesting trash fire.
He has a lot going on, just none of it is all that good.
I think I'd like to say real fast that as far as sealed goes, we can pretty much say if you pulled an SR, you're playing it. So I don't know that we really need to talk about sealed past that.
Yeah, we can talk about sealed if there's one that's like an instant win, but you're almost certainly playing all of them.
Adam's silence is very telling. We next have Null, who also starts with equipment, which I will go over. It is the all black the Necro Sword. Effect is Giant Reach 2. When this character makes a close attack, opposing characters can't use Shape Change or Super Senses and can't reduce damage below 1. It's a heavy, so he starts with that. He also has a trait that is similar to the symbiote trait, but plasticity, and has breakaway +3 as opposed to +2. And opposing characters have breakaway -3 instead, again, as opposed to the standard -2. Shape change, but succeeds on a 4 through 6. When null KOs an opposing character, after resolutions, heal 2 clicks. Another trait, which is traded stealth. Smoke cloud is free, but generates obscuring terrain markers instead. And then free, place null any square of obscuring terrain within 4 squares. It's worth noting that even though they are not smoke normal hindering markers, your opponent will still get the -1 for being in it. He has a 250 and a 125 point line. Power Cosmic Team ability. Keywords are Codex, Cosmic, Deity, Maximum Carnage, Monster, and we're starting off with Chad.
I think it's worth noting that all black is not all black. They did terribly on that. They did terribly. Obviously, again, we've already said it. Sealed, I'm playing him. Otherwise, I don't really see that I'm ever playing him. I love him for a casual game because, he created the symbiotes. How cool is that? But again, I think I said it in a previous episode, the more I learn about the symbiotes, the less I wanted to know about the symbiotes. So I hate him and I love him at the same time, but I'm not really going to play him anytime soon.
All back the Necrosword team's good.
Yeah.
That's true.
He's almost
very,
good.
very true.
He's very close to being good. That's a lot of mobility.
I think that might be an overstatement.
Nice. Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah, I would say there's almost there, and he's like one tier below that.
So what makes the sword actually good is the fact that it doesn't actually have like precision strike or battle fury. It just grants you abilities that nobody can outwit, that nobody can take away, that you just have, which to me is what really makes it good, even though it's 15 points.
Yeah, I feel like this is the kind of piece that somebody will bring to a competitive event and take to a near winning record in Swiss or something, but it's not actually good.
Yeah, I just see if he critically misses on his full line, or I guess either line, he loses charge, and on his starting he goes to impervious instead of invincible, which is that's just a big loss. So it makes me feel bad.
Are we still talking about null? Because I only care about the sword.
Agreed.
Okay, I'll move on to Doppelganger, non-prime. He is 60 points in Dom, Maximum Carnage monster keywords, Maximum Carnage trait, which we already mentioned with Carnage. Maternal Bond is his second trait. At the beginning of your turn, if Doppelganger is within 4 squares of a friendly character named Shriek, remove an action token from him. So that's something. If you're playing Shriek, which why would you? Last and third trait, Razor Webs. Smoke Cloud is free, but only to generate 1 marker. So why is it called Webs? If an opposing character moves through that marker, after resolutions, deal that character 1 penetrating damage. Charge Flurry as a special movement power on his first half of his dial. And we go to Devin.
He's not very good. I don't know. Like the smoke cloud is nice.
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to disagree slightly because there's a weird caveat that I believe is the case for the Razor Webs. You move through the character you start a movement in. So if you Razor Webs directly under someone and they move, they're taking it.
Yep, I think that's been a confirmed thing, so that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, that's nice.
If you're playing him to begin with.
But he's still 60 points with combat reflexes is his only defensive thing. Battle Fury, so he can't be carried. Like, I don't know.
But
Probably.
free
penetrating. The Maximum Carnage and all the symbiotes do
free
not
penetrating if they move.
There's no cohesive team here.
Free penetrating. Okay. You can play him with lower dial Black Bolt to force them to move.
Perfect.
That sounds like a
lot of
Devin
work.
combo if he was joking, because Devin does do weird combos, but yeah, not even. So.
I usually do it because I think they're good.
Right, you don't intentionally play crap, right? So.
He doesn't do it intentionally, but we've just implied that he does it a lot.
Oh, I mean, I do sometimes play terrible teams. But I usually manage to figure out that those are bad before I take them to tournaments.
Yeah, fair enough. Doppelganger Super Prime version is Indom, Codex keyword, Cosmic, Maximum Carnage, Monster Mystical, Improved Movement, Elevated Hindering, Maximum Carnage trait, which we've seen, Symbiote Codex Hunter, which we've seen. That's the effect of the equipment that Carnage has. And he has a special speed power to start for his first half of his dial. Charge Flurry. Once per turn, when Doppelganger uses Flurry, if he hits with both attacks, after resolutions, he may immediately use Charge at no cost, but only to target characters he has not attacked this turn. Special defense power that he has for the same first half of his dial. Combat reflexes, super senses, toughness, 65 points, Adam.
He makes Vulture look really good by comparison.
Everything makes Vulture look really good by comparison.
I mean, but he's in a prime slot. He's doing like a cool charge after you attack thing, and he's just 15 more points and worse.
He's better defensively,
technically,
but yeah.
Once you account for the arms, he's only 5 points more, so checkmate.
Still worse.
He does a good job proving that Vulture is completely and utterly broken.
Yeah, I mean, if you could guarantee that Doppelganger was hitting all of his flurries, then he'd be really good, but how
I'm sure somebody out there is convinced that Vulture isn't just broken. Somebody somewhere is like,
Vulture's
was a thread. Balanced.
There was an HC Realms thread after U.S. Nationals last year where somebody was talking about how it's not meta, and we were all talking about how it won so many states and so many this in U.S. Nationals. He's like, well, those don't count. I've never heard of them. And I don't know. It was really stupid.
You didn't hear of U.S. Nationals?
Or specifically for the Rock ones, but I don't know how he's discounting the U.S. Nationals win, but he somehow managed to pretend to do it. Yeah, pretty much the biggest tournament there is. So looks like we're moving on to Spider-Man.
I mean,
oh, sorry.
Maybe once Vulture retires, somebody will figure out a team with Doppelganger that does similar things, but until then, there is no reason to play this over Vulture.
But he has no Spider-Man family compatible keywords, so he's bad forever. Sorry. Spider-Man on the trash can is a unique. Yeah, there's actually. I'm just realizing that this is the first unique in the set, and one of two. That's a funny random thing. But he is 60 points. Spider-Man family team ability. Keywords are reporter, scientist, Spider-Man family. Trait that he generates the garbage can, which is not an equipment object, but it goes on the map. When a friendly, that number Spider-Man will be KO'd. If this object is unheld, instead you may replace that Spider-Man with the common Peter Parker on click number 2 adjacent to this object. If you do KO this object, you cannot go from that Spider-Man to Peter Parker to back to Spider-Man again, because when you put that Peter Parker on the sideline, the only effect that he can go from the sideline or go back into the sideline for is that effect. Secret identity is something else. I'm saying this now because it's still a question, and I'm waiting for it to go on the rules for him. He has a trait, Jonah hates me even more than I thought. When he starts the game, an opponent generates a J. Jonah Jameson bystander anywhere on the map. That bystander is autonomous, 5 speed, sidestep, 9 attack, 16 defense, 0 damage. And then he has a special damage power, which is perplex, but only on himself or opposing characters with Spider-Man family. Keyword, if I hadn't mentioned, the trash can is 10 points. Special attack power, when Spider-Man makes a close attack, he instead targets all adjacent opposing characters. He is a secret identity for just that Peter Parker, and his secret identity line looks very similar to the full line. And because I'm a bad person, we're going to start off with Adam again.
I hate you. I don't like this piece, not because it's bad, not or any of that stuff. I just have too many questions on how these effects work. There's just a lot of timing issues that are involved in this thing. The attack power has a bunch of timing issues. Turns out his trait has a bunch of timing issues for the Jonah Jameson. Because normally a character starts the game when that specific character is placed on the map for the first time, which means you just have a weird timing issue of this gets placed on the map during setup. Well, I don't recall if characters are placed one at a time. I don't think it's obvious whether they are, in which case you have a problem that you now have a triggered effect during the middle of one player's setup where the other player makes a decision.
And it
I don't
doesn't
like
say
that.
not in a starting area, right?
It doesn't, right? Yeah.
So
it-
technically,
also-
you could put J. Jonah Jameson in their starting area, blocking another character they were trying to place.
Right. I don't. It's just a timing issue. I don't like it. It should get clarified so that it makes it clear on how that all works.
And also, what is it? First player has to set up first? Like, has to?
Yes. Yeah. Well, except when they don't, because sometimes they get to reset up after they set up first because of expanded starting areas.
I'm assuming.
Yeah,
I'm
expanded
assuming
starting areas are the
nothing
worst.
weird. I'm just assuming normally.
So
Yeah, normally
let's remove
player
completely
one sets up-
psychotic weird stuff. And do you like the figure?
I thought you said he was medium to begin with.
He's medium. He just has a bunch of rule stuff I don't like.
Okay, I just want to confirm that
It could
it's
be
not.
really cool on like Spider-Man family that you've added.
It will.
Jason
My
Wingard.
assessment may change depending on exactly how the questions I have get answered.
Right. For clarity, some of those questions include if, let's say, he's close attacking for incapacitate, does that still work? Close combat expert is questionable. Object attacks are questionable. If
I
the
don't think
character
close
can-
combat expert's questionable.
It just, I mean, it might not be intended. There's just a lot of questions on what combos or works with his multi-close attack. It's just a lot of weirdness. So, yeah, that's basically it. But oh yeah, why does this character, every special thing he does has rules questions, or at least not necessarily intuitive rules questions in the case
So-
of the Carnage.
Yeah.
So my question is, this is irrelevant. You give him Mjolnir. You attack a character 6 squares away, well adjacent to 3 opposing characters. You only target the adjacent ones, right?
We talked about this. It's
Okay.
not.
No,
That
I
one
think
does
that's right.
not.
Because it says
Giant,
instead.
Giant
That's
Reach,
instead,
I
right.
believe would work, but not that because it doesn't make you adjacent or considered to be
No.
adjacent.
You're missing his question, Jay. His question is, I initially target something 6 away.
Yeah.
There's 3 adjacents. I just become targeting the 3 adjacents.
Oh.
I'm not targeting the thing I tried to attack at all, right?
Right.
I
It's
am
just
going
not targeting.
to abstain due to that being non-modern.
It's not
I
modern,
agree
so who
with you,
cares?
and I think the answer is yes. The
But
easier way
also-
to make it happen is just Giant Reach 2.
We
Maybe
also
giant
have
Yeah.
bronze.
Two squares
We
away.
we
What
do.
happens?
I have said we're going to discuss bronze, so to be determined
Right, but
somehow.
I mean, you can make it come up in modern, so it's a moot point. Because you equip him
Anyway.
with Necro Sword for Giant Reach 2. He Giant Reaches 2 something 2 away, but then he has 3 opposing adjacents. Does he have to only target the 3 opposing adjacents? And the thing he actually targeted is never targeted.
Let's just pray that they never give equipment to give RAM. That is the most important thing.
Ooh.
You can never.
What if
There's
you
no
had
effect to that,
zero
right?
opposing characters.
There is
Adjacent
no,
opposing
there's no effect
characters.
that
Do you just
currently does
attack
that.
no one?
Yeah, I think so.
So it could technically be a downside in some situations.
Also, hold on. One more thing that I just realized. So it says. So you brought up the example before we started recording about Spider-Man with mind control via the mind gem or whatever, making attacking the gene that can be friendly mind controlled, but the effect only does opposing. So
Yeah.
he just doesn't target your gene.
It just
Oh man, yeah.
Not optional. So
There
yeah,
needs to be some questions asked about this one, I think.
I have
But
so
if
many
he works
questions.
like people assume that he works,
Then-
excluding all of that, I think
then
that
he's okay.
if you have, well, I think
Why
he's
can't any of
especially-
you just play a damn game?
Because the more
Because
you know
we don't
about the
know how it
rules of
works.
the game, the more you know it doesn't work. That's Adam's life. So
So I think that like if you have like chain mind control from Jason and you can set up him attacking like 8 characters, he could be ridiculous, and you can do that on Spider-Man Family theme, so it could definitely happen.
and for what it's worth, you can theme him with multiple different keywords possibilities with Prime Batman, so you have a range equivalent and a close equivalent. Because we haven't even mentioned yet that like Prime Batman, the wording is such that he just targets, so he would not split his damage.
does not
Starts
split.
with a 3, you could get him to 6, so close Batman is a thing. Okay.
Which is, worse than range Batman, but still potentially very good.
Yeah. It also is kind of sadness that if you go second, your trash can is just gone because their Jonah gets to be placed anywhere, so that's just like really sad. But what can you do?
Wait, why does that make your trash can gone?
Because they place
He's
it
just saying that
anywhere
Jonah
and they
can pick it
destroy it
up
turn one.
immediately.
How do they destroy? Oh, does he have sidestep?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Superior Spider-Man
Well,
comes
but
with
the timing is awkward there because they have to place the Jonah first.
Shh. Just shut up. Okay, Waldo Arms comes with Superior Spider-Man and gets equipped. Giant effect is Giant Reach 2 at the beginning
More
of
giant
your
reach
turn.
equipment.
Pardon?
I just said, hey, more giant reach equipment.
Yeah. Beginning of your turn, you may roll d6. This character has the listed effect until your next turn. 1 to 2, attack and defense +1. 3 to 4, incapacitate as free. 5 to 6, free, make a close attack. And for what it's worth, it's heavy, so he comes with that to begin with, as well as the
Who's coming with this?
Superior Spider-Man.
Not according to AC Realms.
I don't think
never
H
mind.
Realms says
Never mind.
any of that.
Never mind.
It doesn't matter. H Realms
I
isn't
clicked the wrong
official.
Spider-Man. I just clicked the wrong Spider-Man. We're all good.
Shut up. He has improvement in elevated hindering. Keywords are Avengers, Scientist, Sinister Syndicate, Spider-Man Family, 4 range, 85 points. This is the first Superior Spider-Man to have the Spider-Man team ability for some reason. Special speed power, charge, flurry, plasticity. This will go to, I guess, me because I skipped over people. Definitely play him in sealed. Charge, flurry, maybe gets. He's either 12 attack, maybe 4 damage if you want. He gets free incapacitate or free close attack, so he's triple flurry. Like, he does a lot of good things for sealed. Constructed, it's just no. It's just
He's
a no.
bad, but the Waldo arms are potentially quite good.
Yes, that is true. This is a character you need for the Waldo arms because they can just go on many different things. All the effects are good, especially
Put
because
them on somebody who you're bringing along on an Alpha Strike. Sometimes they get 2/3 of the time they get to do something extra.
Oh, hold on.
1/3 they get to increase their stats.
Prime Batman gets free incapacitate 1/3 of the time.
Yeah, that
Wow.
technically works, I think.
There's no reason why it wouldn't. So that's
Yeah,
the thing.
there's a lot of interesting stuff you can potentially do with this one. The free make a close attack is probably less good on Prime Batman, but he gets useful effect 2/3 of the time.
Anyone else?
No comment.
Waldo Arms.
Where's Waldo Arms? Okay. First of a couple Venom versions of characters we have in this set, Venom Captain Marvel, 6 range, 110 points, Indom Flyer. Improved move or keywords are Avengers, Codex, Cosmic, Guardians of the Galaxy, Kree, Monster. Improved movement that they can move through and destroy blocking terrain, although it's worth noting that you can't stop in the blocking terrain because it's only destroyed after resolutions. Symbiote trait, plasticity shape change, call and help from the Venomverse. When Venom Captain Marvel hits, it's misspelled on Realms, hits an opposing character. If no character has been placed this turn, after resolutions, you may roll a d6. 3 to 6, place another friendly character whose name includes Venom adjacent. Trait is Steal Energy. Gets a special attack power later in the dial. Quake. Venom Captain Marvel deals penetrating damage. This is a Chad.
Based on my experience with other Captain Marvels, she is way overcosted.
You don't
play
say.
her in sealed, and that's about it.
Yep.
Yeah, she feels like, I don't know, if she was like, how many points would she have to be? 90? Is that even reasonable? 85. Is this good at 85? I don't know.
Not really. It's fine, even at 85.
It's reasonable for casual, though.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be quite good for casual at 85, but...
No, I just meant as is.
Yeah, even as is.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I guess it is a Bronze Age call-in. Not bad. Hypersonic prob, destroys blocking, gets itself... Oh, no. Adam, I need help for bronze. What if the character with improved blocking it poofs before the action resolves? Is the effect still active to destroy it?
Okay, so one, you had the wrong timing. It's not after resolutions; it's when the movement ends.
Oh, sorry, movement resolves. Sorry.
Yeah. Technically, the movement will still resolve. I don't know whether it blows up.
Okay, that's a really weird one for a fringy at best.
I would assume that it's the normal delayed trigger roll.
Yeah, that makes sense. Where you resolve something like same as how if a character is KO'd by Mystics, it's still procs. Yeah, that's fair.
I would assume it's a normal delayed trigger interaction, and so you still make it blown up. But
How does destroying blocking work with hypersonic? When is it destroyed? When you stop to make the attack or after?
no, it's so when the movement in question ends.
Right, because hypersonic is 2 movements, so you could destroy 2 different times, or yeah.
I was fairly confident that was the answer. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, improved blocking is people have questions. Okay, Venom Doctor Strange. He is 7 range. He has the Defender's team ability, which is like one of 5 characters ever for some reason. Mystic's team ability, 90 points or 45. He is a flyer. Keywords are Avengers, Codex, Defenders, Midnight Suns, Monster, Mystical. Improved targeting that he can shoot both in and out of adjacency. Okay, summon help from the Venomverse, which is a different trait than call in help or whatever. When Venom Doctor Strange hits an opposing character, if no character has been placed this turn, after resolution to may roll a d6, 3 to 6, choose a character on your sideline whose name includes Venom of equal or less points to place adjacent. This game, that character can't be carried, replace, or be replaced, and returns to your sideline at the beginning of your next turn. I don't understand how there could be replacements there because that's only on the sideline for that one effect. I'm going to go on as if that matters. Plasticity, Shape Change, Symbiote trait. He starts with a special damage power on both of his lines, which is Leadership and Probability Control. I'm going to just do quick rule stuff because he's weird. You could theoretically not go infinite because there's only so many actions you can take, but because placement from off the map onto the map is not placement, you could theoretically make a whole bunch of this guy, which is the thing, because the first one does it, place doesn't count, second one attacks, place doesn't count. That's a thing. We're going to move on, though, to Devin.
I mean, in Sealed Defenders is an awesome team ability to have access to.
Wait, are you sure there's enough wild cards to get use of it in this?
Yeah, right. The summon help from the Venomverse seems like it has potential. I don't know exactly how to abuse that. Like, is there ways to hit an opposing character from across the map easily to activate it without putting yourself in danger? I'm not sure there is in Modern. But if there is, then it could be. It being unreliable sucks. I don't really like it when something works half the time and just is kind of useless if it doesn't.
That is obviously 2/3 of the time.
Yeah, Devin, bad math there, but that's
okay. He can't roll 3s, so it is in fact half the time.
I accept that.
In fairness to Devin, I can count the number of times I've rolled for Spider-Verse successfully on less than one hand because I don't feel like it's ever happened, but that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, bringing things in from the sideline is usually very, very good. But
yeah,
being
even
inconsistent and having to make an attack first is maybe
I think 90 gets you pretty much every Venom in Modern, unless I'm forgetting like one. Okay,
yeah, does
not
45
Captain
get
Marvel.
You anything except for Groot?
Himself.
Sure.
Yeah, himself and
himself is good. So that's
I think that's literally it. And then,
I think the idea is it's just himself, and you're hoping to spend all of your actions on that turn, because you can attack with 4. Like you attack with him,
that's fair.
And if all the rolls go well, you attack with 3 more of him that turn.
Is there something that allows like adjacent characters to make free attacks or something, so you can try it again? Or
I mean the gem effects. I was gonna say I feel like there's an effect where if like friendlies hit, you get actions, like gain action totals or whatever.
In Bronze, you can do that with the ID.
Well, there's the.
I care about Bronze enough to not tell you to shut up, but not that much.
I think there are some shield characters who, when they hit, you get extra actions.
Title Picard has a title ability. Choose one. Move or close or range. Actions of the chosen type given to friendly characters that are adjacent or Starfleet. So adjacent don't count against your action total this turn.
Okay, so that could work, yeah. And they just all shoot him until you miss.
And
basically.
The Borg Queen has the same thing.
Right. I don't know if it's ever going to matter or be worth it, but I don't know.
Something to do in a casual game, maybe.
It's not nothing.
It's something to look at.
I mean, just spending the money on that many Doctor Stranges.
It doesn't have to be like at a certain point. I've had enough Doctor Stranges, but I don't know. It's just a thing.
I think the main thing just to consider with him is I don't care about any of the super special stuff. 45 for a leadership prob TK Mystics is fine with shape.
On Avengers keyword especially.
Yeah.
There's like
or
very
monsters.
few. There's very little. Yeah, that's a good point. There's very little TK on either of those keywords for cheap.
There's also very little
I
leadership
was-
on monsters in general.
Yeah, I was
Yep.
looking up TK for Spider-Man family. I think the best non-equipment way to do it is Spider Pharaoh brings in Magneto 2x2. Like I'm not even joking.
Nice.
Yeah, it's expensive.
It's pretty cheap.
There's
But
certain keywords,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, unless there's a gem bear that I'm forgetting about that works. Maybe not. I don't know. But I'm gonna move on to Venom Groot. 4 range, 35 points, tiny, no team ability, which is illegal. So Realms is obviously wrong. Improvement with elevated hindering, symbiote trait, calling help from the Venomverse trait. Third trait, regrown from a twig and from a drop. When Venom Groot is KO'd, instead of putting him in your KO area, turn him to click number 1 and put him on his card. This game, when another friendly character uses Call and Help from the Venomverse and succeeds, they may instead choose to place Venom Groot from this card. He scored each time. This would also not count towards your uses, maybe not intended. Special damage power, his whole dial. When an opposing character is placed within 4 squares of Venom Groot, choose 1. Modify that character's attack -2 this turn, or after resolutions, Venom Groot is another copy of Valeria Richards, or Valeria Von Doom, which is deal that character 1 penetrating damage, and then, if that character occupies printed hindering terrain, choose both. I don't even know anymore. I think, yeah, this is an Atom, actually.
I mean, just the Valeria effect is absurd. The downsides of it is I think this is generally worse than Valeria herself, because the effect is on a power, which means it can be outwitted, and he's just more expensive, has less general utility when he's not using that effect. But the fact that you can play him in multiples because he's not unique is just
why not play him with Valeria?
Yeah,
Then you get.
I mean, I'm convinced Valeria needs Errata, so I'm convinced he needs Errata.
I think he's overcosted. He needs to be less points.
I think he needs to be a troubler, and also when your opponent scores him, you score points instead. But it is worth noting, as far as the outwit goes, he does have stealth, and also doesn't need line of fire, unlike Valeria. So that's oh boy, that's a
Yeah,
thing.
playing him in multiples, they can potentially bring each other back from their cards.
Yeah, you play him. You have to play 2 of them. Plain and simple.
Anything more than that is diminishing returns, as far as I'm concerned,
least.
unless you. There's no guaranteed kill box because characters could randomly have invincible. So.
Is he going to increase the play of Possessor?
I love it. Technically, you could, if you have another outwit, you could do it with Ultra Chase Thanos as well, but that seems less good.
How much actually has invincible?
Captain Marvel on her stop click.
Okay.
She's the most annoying one.
Dark Phoenix gets it.
She never has it in practice. She has to heal like 6 times.
Yeah.
And obviously, like Ultra Chase Thanos, if anybody's
Earth-X
playing that.
thing. Franklin Richards can pick it. It's just not very common. So.
Yeah.
But still, it's not a guaranteed win you everything. But it's still a thing to consider. Okay, we're gonna.
Just one other rules thing is you can't with his call in thing where he's on the card. It doesn't work with Strange because that trait is not named call in help from the Venomverse. It's summon help from the Venomverse.
Yeah, that's presumably why that is different. I guess we're gonna have to talk about Venom Ghost Spider because she's in the set. 70 points, 5 range, Indom. Keywords are Celebrity, Codex, Monster, Spider-Man Family, Elevated Hindering, calling up from the Venomverse, Symbiote trait, third trait, because every character in the set has 4 or more traits, Giant Reach 3. If Venom Ghost Spider has no action tokens, she can use Battle Fury. If she has exactly 1, she can use Flurry. If she has 2, she can use Stealth. This is me. She is definitely casual fun times. Reasonable enough for sealed. I mean, I don't know if I'm using her over other versions of Gwen, unless you're okay with using more than one version, in which case, maybe, I don't know. But for Venoms, she doesn't even seem that great compared to other options, but if we're talking casual, if you want to play it, you're going to play it. So not really much else I can say about that. So
having Battle Fury when you have no action tokens is annoying. Just aren't able to be carried for no particular reason.
I mean, there's no synergy with any of the Venoms being carried, pretty much. So, I mean,
I stick with my normal qualification for a Gwen. The only Gwen I want is a crumpled body on a base.
oh boy, that's something. I'm not gonna ask Adam to weigh in on this figure. Yeah, what? That's one more word than I wanted you to say. Red Goblin is. We haven't seen a secret identity in a little bit. And I guess this is the last one in the set. So he is 5 range 2 targets, Sinister Syndicate team ability, 110 points, or a secret identity. Keywords are Codex, Maximum Carnage, Monster, Sinister Syndicate. I don't know why they skipped over making Goblin King in normal continuity, but that's whatever. Carnage Symbiote and Pumpkin Bombs. Trait, he doesn't come with either because that is Maximum Carnage and the Green Goblin. Can start with the Pumpkin Bombs or Carnage Symbiote at no cost. Oh, I also forgot to mention he has another starting line.
Comes with neither?
Yeah, he comes with neither. So yeah, he comes with either, or if you paid 110 points, he can equip both, and we start the game with both equipped. I believe that I've confirmed that he does not get to bring both in at the secret identity because you haven't paid points for him or whatever, but that's still not bad. Traded Steel Energy. Opposing characters with the Spider-Man family keyword decrease their D6 roll for super senses -1. Starts with a special defense power, I believe, on both of his lines. Yeah, or both of his normal starting lines, not the secret identity, which is invulnerability, can reduce penetrating damage. Has a special damage power, almost the whole dial on the regular dial, not on secret identity. Exploit weakness, when Green Goblin KOs an opposing character, after resolutions, opposing characters that share a keyword with a KO'd character modify combat values -1 until your next turn. I believe this is only Norman Osborn secret identity, and this is a Chad?
I mean, secret identity isn't the worst, but I mean, I don't see myself really playing him much ever. Yeah, that's all.
That's a good summary of this piece.
I'm not even convinced this is good and sealed.
Dude,
And sealed 4 damage is just so good in this set to begin with. Sealed, you're probably gonna play him.
I think you might play the Pumpkin Bombs with him over Green Goblin, but like he doesn't have range synergy.
It's not running shot, yeah.
Like if you charge in and then you kill them and then you can shoot within 5, it's just all weird. I don't know.
And you have blades with 4 damage.
Wasn't it Agent Anti-Venom the same thing? He had charge and like 5 or 6 range.
Yeah, and then the support.
Yeah.
So.
Because all those abilities work together very well.
I feel like his trait of decreasing the super senses alone is a consideration for this sealed. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's fine in sealed, but outside of that.
So.
Better if he had 12 attack.
On the one positive note, the sculpt is pretty fantastic if you get one that isn't wonky.
Yeah, I think it's also not the worst secret identity to pull in because you can get Pumpkin Bombs and actually set up to use them because you're gonna, if you can do that, or you probably don't. But I don't know.
But it's also going against Iron Patriot for Norman, and I think the Iron Patriot is going to get called in much more often.
Right, but there's a time and place for everything. So okay,
There's not a sideline spot for everything.
I'm gonna move on with my life. We have Spirit Spider, who is Chad's favorite figure ever. 5 range, 2 targets, Mystics, team ability, Spider-Man team ability, 90 points. Keywords are mystical and Spider-Man family. Improved movement, elevated hindering, improved targeting. Can make range attacks in and out of adjacency. Trait, when another friendly character with a Spider-Man family keyword, which is every character, is KO'd by an opponent's attack, choose a standard power on that character's card and note it. This game, Spirit Spider can use the noted powers. I guess it's worth mentioning quickly that it doesn't say that they could use on that starting line, so if you play somebody at a lower and they have a power only at higher, you just check for what's on the card.
Even secret identity. If
Yes.
it's just on their secret identity, you can still use it.
Right, it's physically what's on the card, and choose a standard power on that character's card. So I guess it doesn't care about printed? Or I guess it can be within a... That's a weird one, actually. I don't know. That's actually... Huh. I'm not 1,000% sure on that one. That's kind of weird.
The general rule is in order for it to be picked, it has to actually be the standard power, not as part of the special power.
Yeah, but like.
I mean, Uni broke that rule pretty solid.
No, Uni
That was
specified that it
can
was
use.
what they could use on that click. It wasn't based on what was on their card. It was based on what the character could use on the click that he turned.
Yeah, because you physically did click them. So.
Which is why
I
you
don't
couldn't
know.
use powers from later clicks on those ones, because it didn't care about what was on the card. So his worked differently.
Traded super senses, when he uses it and succeeds after resolutions, deal the attacking character one penetrating damage. It's kind of cool because then you get mystics or that, depending on whatever. Special attack power, penetrating psychic blast. Incapacitate is free. When Spirit Spider uses it after resolutions, deal 1 penetrating damage to each hit character that had attacked a friendly character since your last turn. Devin.
That attack power is one of those things that feels like it should be insane, but in practice will maybe deal 1 damage once. Like,
I mean,
if
still
you can
incapacitate is
somehow
free.
bait your opponent's entire team of Wendigos into attacking one of your characters and missing, and then use it, you can KO all of the Wendigos, and in practice, it'll do nothing.
My only comment on this piece is it makes me very, very sad that it was printed after the rules changed for Precision Strike. Because this would have been a cool case where, because it cares about whether you succeeded the super senses, not whether you evaded the attack. If it was old Precision Strike where they just can't evade it, but you still got to roll it, you could have a cool case where you roll the 6, so they still take a damage and they hit you.
Okay.
You can't do that, which is sad.
Thanks, Adam, for that very relevant commentary. Okay. Last super is Spider-Man 2099. He has 4 range, Spider-Man team ability. He has 100 points or 50 points. Keywords are exiles, future scientists, Spider-Man family. He can start with the Dimensional Travel Watch, which I'll read off quickly. The effect is, it comes with Ghost Spider, which means I don't know if you're actually using it in sealed for him, but phasing teleport. When this character hits an opposing character, if no character has been placed this turn after resolutions, you may roll a d6, 3 to 6, place another friendly character with the Spider-Man family keyword adjacent, light object. So essentially phasing and then calling help from the Spider-Verse trait. Special speed power. Knockback. When Spider-Man 2099 is given a move action, which would include the phasing, and moves 5 squares or less after resolutions, he can use Flurry at no cost. I'll give it to Chad because he likes the character, at least, in the white costume.
Yeah, apparently I'm the only one in the world that likes 2099 or likes 2099 in the white costume. I think the figure is fine. The problem with him is that he is 100% like appropriately costed, so nobody wants to play him.
Yeah, only appropriately costed is just my my line these days. So
I'm not a big fan when they give a character an extra starting line and it doesn't actually exist in practice. Like, I don't think you ever play this at 100. You play him at 50.
I mean, for once they gave him 2 starting lines and there's a 3-click difference instead of 2. That's something.
They didn't actually give him a second starting line though, because you can't choose it because it's just bad.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant that they messed something up, which shouldn't be possible.
No. Just in practice, you can't actually choose it because you'd just rather have him at 50.
I mean, I don't see why that's so bad. I think the 19 defense is neat. I don't know.
Getting to phase through walls 5 and then flurry is fine.
Yeah.
If you have the dimensional.
I mean, you're never using him at 50 in competitive, so I think you're playing him at 100 for casual.
You're never playing him, period, in competitive, like, ever. And in casual, it's Spider-Man 2099, so I'm playing him big. I
just kind of realized that we missed opportunity to talk about the kilted format, where the question is, what round is this guy played in? I think this is round 3. Or I guess to clarify, the format is for every round, all the winning game elements that the winners used and the map that the game was played on are banned. So everybody plays Black Widow round 1. She's banned for the next round. So this feels like maybe a round 3 or 4 to me. But
round 3 was the Chase Red Skull round. There's no way this is getting played in round 3.
Yeah. Round 3 still had like insane figures left.
Yeah.
I guess
this is not getting played in that tournament, probably.
No.
I mean,
It'll be
no,
played by
it'll
the end of
count.
it. By the end of it, it'll certainly be played because I mean it was like 8 rounds or something. So there's no way it's not making a list in at least round 6, 7. I think maybe round 4 at the earliest.
Okay, that's fair. I also didn't actually play or keep up that much, so my valuations are not great.
Thunderbolts was still being played in round 3 with all the good Thunderbolt pieces.
Yeah, you almost won if you would have played
If I wouldn't have been bad
at all correctly. Yeah. Okay, so that is going to be the end of this particular episode because chases are going to be their own whole equivalent length of all the rest of them. So thanks everybody for
There is
being
a
on.
lot to talk about.
Oh
Chases.
yes, there is. Thank you for listening, as well as watching our content and supporting us. We now have a Patreon at patreon.com/JSAClix. We appreciate any and all support from there, and we look forward to interacting with you and working with you on teams and other Heroclix stuff on our Patreon Discord, as well as giving you early and exclusive content. You can keep up with us on all our various social media platforms. We have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, Twitter, and Instagram. You can find our podcast on YouTube with visuals, as well as on Podbean, SoundCloud, and Spotify. We're also working on getting up on Google and Apple Podcasts. We also want to mention some affiliates and friends of the show. We have our friend Devin Adams, who has been on the podcast, and you may have heard him before. He has the Happy Little Heroclix YouTube channel and a Patreon. We also are friends with the Married with Clix crew, who have their YouTube channel. Our friend Joe from Clix Nexus has also just started a Patreon. We greatly appreciate his contributions to the game and his keeping up his unit section. We look forward to having him on the show very soon. Thank you again for listening and supporting us in any way you can. We hope that you make sure to have fun the next time you play Heroclix, whether it's a competitive game or casual.